Welcome back. And today I'm going to go a little bit down memory lane. So be patient with me, but the memory lane has a lesson for all of us. I want to tell you a little bit about what it was like to enter the convent in the 1960s. And I'll tell you from my own personal experience. When one commits to marriage, the vows one makes are forever. And it's the same with the vows that one makes for religious life. For a religious sister, you make 3 vows: the vow of poverty, chastity, and obedience. The religious sister gives her life in love and service within a particular religious congregation with special charism and special gifts. That life then is given in service to God, and that life is given forever. And I remember very clearly the date of September 8th, 1965, when I walked through the convent doors for the first time. I shed my civilian clothes in exchange for a black dress, black stockings, and black Oxford shoes. There were 15 of us that day doing the same thing, and it was called Entrance Day. And once we changed into this simple dress, we were able to go out the convent doors one last time to say goodbye to our family. Then we went back through the doors, and the doors closed behind us. We said goodbye to our families, our past, and even our names, which we also left in exchange for a new one. It was a shocking and traumatic experience, to say the least. And for the next 9 years, we discerned whether we could live this life forever. Up until that time, we would be taking promises, yearly promises of poverty, chastity, and obedience. But during the 9 years, we were to make a decision as to whether we were ready to make those not yearly promises, but final vows. Can we do this? Can we do this forever? Well, there's much to say about that experience, and in preparation for this moment of making a decision whether we could do this forever or not, our formation director had an idea, and I'll tell you what, that alone made us nervous. The idea was set in motion when all 9 of us set off to a trip to Mount Xavier Monastery. It was a Benedictine monastery located near Elmira, New York. We had rented a house there, and we went there, and in preparation, what we were going to do in preparation for discerning final vows was we were going to experience 14 days of solitude on a mountain. After all, Jesus went up the mountain to pray before making a serious decision, and that is what we were going to do as well. So we gathered at our little house, which we rented for the monks, and we were told to pick a mountain, take our gear, and set up a tent on that mountain. Now, I don't mean this figuratively, I mean this literally. We were really asked to pick a mountain. We were surrounded by mountains. Take our gear, the equipment needed to set up a tent, and spend the next 14 days in solitude, contemplating the meaning of the word forever. So off we went on a pilgrimage from mountain to mountain, helping each one set up their tent, and then moving on and finding our own mountain and start our 14 days of contemplation. And I'll tell you, there was much to say about that experience. Some funny things happened, like the wild dogs were sniffing outside my tent, and I stopped breathing for quite a while. And then there was Sister John the Baptist, who many of you may know as Sister Coley, who attacked a snake in the middle of the night. And I'll tell you what, that sucker, the snake, had no chance of survival. But if I learned anything in those 14 days, I learned how to pray. And some of my prayers were pretty pathetic, like, oh my God, am I hardly sorry, or heartily sorry? Oh my God, what is that noise? Oh my God, please don't let it rain. Oh my God, I'm afraid of thunder. Those were the kind of prayers I was praying. And upon entering the convent, it was like though entering a school of prayer. And certainly we all know that prayer is truly an art that only comes with practice and experience. This I learned in the convent and in the chapters of my own life. And yes, I learned how to pray in a tent on a mountain quite some time ago. And I learned and I continued to learn today that there's no right or wrong way to pray. That we can each find our own way and that God does the rest. And if this world needs anything at all, it certainly is prayer. Maybe it's our time now for all of us to go up a mountain and pray. Maybe not literally, maybe figuratively this time. But let's pray in our place of work, in our place of worship. Let's pray that we may come to understand that we are all under the same God and that prayer is a very important part of our life. Let's pray that transformation can take place and that prayer can make a difference in our world that desperately needs it. Thank you. See you next week.